So this is how it feels to be on such a big stage. I'll tell you why I started my speech with this sentence, because a few years back, I used to be a person who used to sit in the audience, right there. And today, I'm standing at the opposite end with a mic, speaking on the stage. It's a wonderful feeling. The distance from the stage to the audience, it might be of a few feet, but the journey from sitting there to standing here has been quite an extensive one. To give you some context, let me take you to my pre-enlightenment days. I always believe that I'm going to lead a typical middle-class girl's life, wherein first I'll graduate, then I'll do my post-graduation, then find a job, then get married, have kids, and then spend rest of my life raising those kids. But something changed, and life took a different turn for me. But before this turn could happen, I had to face some personal challenges. During my schooling times, I was a shy, underconfident, and introverted girl who never believed in herself, who shifted from a state board to ICSE board, and that made her feel out of place because between those elite English-speaking kids, I felt as if I have no clue about how to speak in English. And I still remember one day, like my leg got sprained in school, and I was so injured that I couldn't stand properly. And call it my luck or bad luck, my principal visited the class on the same day, while on the other days she used to sit in a cabin and have lunch or food. Everyone stood up to greet her, except this one scared girl who was injured. When asked for the reason, I couldn't utter a single word because in my mind I was wondering what could be the English translation of "mere pair pe chot lag gayi hai." I was so worried to utter even a single word, and I just sat there without saying anything while the principal kept asking me for the reason. And when my friends got to know about my translation problem, they started making fun of me. They started saying bad things about me, and they started excluding me from their group as if I didn't belong to their elite community. It shattered my confidence, and I was anxious throughout my life for making friends in general. I carried this anxiety with me everywhere, even in my college, even in my school, and after a point, I was so tired of trying to fit in, trying to please everyone, trying to beg everyone to be my friend. I realized that I can't be a person who's always lost, who's always sitting in the corner, who has no friends. At that point, I had two options. One was to cry, rant, or blame God for making me shift from a state board to ICSE board. Second was to wipe off my tears and stand for myself. And I chose the second option. That was the first time I chose to take things into my control. If the older Drishti didn't push herself that day, I don't think I would have been standing here speaking about my life story. So back then, the first step that I took to be a better version of myself was to take part into debate competitions, dance competitions, drawing competition. Any kind of competition that used to happen, I used to give my name to it. And that was my first personal challenge. But the funny thing is, I lost at almost every challenge, every competition that I took part in. And it shattered my confidence even more, but not my willpower. Honestly, I didn't care much about winning because my win was taking the first step to get out of my comfort zone. I carried the same mindset to my college, and after I completed my college, I got placed in an IT company. And on the first day of my job, my boss showed me a cubicle and told me that, Drishti, this is your space, and you have to spend your 8 to 9 hours 5 days a week. Although the cubicle was pretty aesthetic, but I couldn't imagine spending my next 5 years of life in that small space. I was like, I'm not made for this. I'm made for something else. But what is this something else, and how do I find it? This was my second personal challenge. And to tackle this problem, I started finding my something else by trying out multiple things in my life. I had my weekends free, so I started an interior designing course, thinking that maybe this is something that I'm made for, but I quit that course within a month because it was too boring for me. Then I wanted to become a wedding planner after watching a Bollywood movie, Band Baja Barat, thinking that this is definitely something that I want to do. But again, I quit the idea within 3 weeks because the process was, again, too boring for me. Then because I had my weekends free, so I thought that why not teach dance to little kids? And I was like, final, I want to be a choreographer now. But again, I quit that job within 2 to 3 weeks because handling the mood swings of those little kids is not that easy. I preferred sitting in my cubicle instead. I kept trying my hands into multiple fields, I kept trying everything, and I was very close to giving up. I thought that maybe I'm made for a 9-to-5 job itself, and let's not try something else and let's just focus on the job. But here comes the U-turn of my story. While I was coming to my home from a hectic day at work, I happened to see a bookstore. And I thought that, okay, I'm not a book reader, I wasn't a book reader back then, but I thought that, okay, maybe, let's just step into the bookstore. We are already having a very bad day, so why not just chill a little bit? So I went there, I picked up one random book, which was called The Power of Subconscious Mind. I happened to open the book, and the first page that I read had this one sentence that I still remember, which was that whatever you are today, it's because of your past thoughts. And if you want to change your future, you need to change your today. This one sentence changed my entire life. One line completely shifted my mindset, as I used to be a person who blamed everything either on situations or other people. And now I wanted to be a person who could change her destiny and make a life, make something of her own. And how strange it is, right? The beauty of reading books is you just have to find that one book that resonates with you. And after finding that one book, you'll start reading more books on the same topic, and eventually you'll fall in love with reading. And the same happened to me. I started reading more books and started writing blogs about my book lessons or book summaries or book reviews. And soon came the pandemic, wherein I had more time in my hand because I was working from my home. So I thought, why not convert these written blogs into video form and post it online? And this is how I started my content creation journey. This phase of my life is what I call my enlightenment phase. I did content creation as a side hustle for 2 years, and then I quit my job because I started earning enough money from content. So I was like, bye-bye, goodbye, good to the pretty aesthetic cubicle, and let's start making our own money. Things went well, and I felt as if I figured out everything. But still, I couldn't push myself to dream big enough. I used to limit my own thinking, and I couldn't think beyond a certain point for myself. Since I was doing a job for a very long time, I was trained for a corporate structure. Psychologically, mentally, physically, I was conditioned to be called as a corporate employee, where my manager assigns me a certain task, and I have to complete it without using my brain. But now that I was my own boss, I was responsible for my professional and my personal life. Who to work with, whom to work with, how to work, how much to work, how not to work, everything. I understood that I can be a good employee, but I'm not a good boss. I'm good with taking the orders and completing the tasks, but I'm not good with giving a task to someone else or to myself. And somewhere I felt that maybe it's because of my upbringing and the pressure that the society puts on us women. Because our entire childhood, we are made to believe that our actual life will start after we get married. Most of us are supposed to study well enough to get a decent job, and get a decent job to find a good guy. We are never told that study hard enough to build a 5 crore business. And my story was nothing different. There was literally no other dream, aim, or vision planted in my mind. I felt as if I was programmed since my childhood to be a perfect marriage material. I had to fight with my own limiting beliefs and think big for myself. And this was my third personal challenge. To tackle this, I had to unlearn my old beliefs and educate myself to believe that I am capable of achieving anything that I want in my life. I did a lot of self-reflection and inner work. I won't say that I've figured out everything as of now, but I am a work in progress, and there's a lot to learn, lot to explore for me. But I want you to take away 3 lessons from my life story. Lesson number 1, believe in yourself. Believe that you deserve everything in the world. Dream big for yourself. Fight for your dreams. Fight for yourself. Once you deeply believe that you deserve a better life that you are currently living, try to give your 100%. Work hard to achieve the dreams. Lesson number 2, be curious. Try to learn as many things as possible. Try to read more books, talk to a lot of people, travel the country. Try to learn more about different cuisines, different lifestyles. There is so much knowledge to gain from this world. And once, if you start becoming a good listener and a good learner, you will experience things that you have never experienced in life before. Lesson number 3, and the most important, follow your heart, but don't forget to use your head. I left my job after making money from my content creation journey. Take calculated risk is what I would suggest. Instead of going all in just without a plan. Because in case, if there's a downfall, it's better to fall from the 2nd floor than from the 100th floor. In the end, I would just like to say that if an underconfident girl like me, who never believed in herself, who had a stage fear, and who wasn't good at English, is able to stand here and speak, give a whole speech in English, I'm telling you, trust me, it's not that difficult to reach at this position. And of course, there's a lot more to experience. You just need to push yourself little by little each day to get out of your comfort zone. Because you never know what you are capable of achieving unless you try. That's it. Thank you.